Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and I'm actually in the yard. Now, you haven't seen me in the yard really working for quite a while, and that's because it's been winter. The ground's been frozen. And let me show you actually what's behind the camera here, because this is kind of funny. So out here we have the old flower beds, a bunch of perennials in here. We have daffodils, we have iris, bearded iris, we have sweet williams, and some few tulips in there. Over here we've got echinacea purpurea, and let's see, there's something else over there. Oh, calendula. And yeah, so we're starting to work on the perennials over there, and it's the daffodils are coming up. It is the very beginning of March. They frequently start to come up here in either February or March. I have a photo bomber back there. Cat is rolling in the dirt because that's what she adores to do. Jack is wandering around here somewhere too. He's a little confused because I'm actually working outside today. The problem is the yard is kind of a dichotomy right now. We've got this section that is coming alive for spring, so I need to clear out the old iris leaves and any of the dead annuals and stuff like that. I'll probably, in fact I know I will, collect a few of the annual seeds like the hollyhocks here. I probably won't bother with most of the rest of the annual seeds in here, but that's okay. And I have a few weeds. I can see there's a wild tobacco over there that I want out of here. But up along the house, I'll show you what's going on. Now in the winter, this section of the yard gets zero sun. You can see that very distinct shade line right there. And, you know, here's right next to the camera. And one of the reasons I have the camera over here actually is because it's very cool in the shade, and that's great because it's less likely to overheat. Because my goal today is to kind of start getting things set in the garden. But one of the problems we have had historically with the, this guy's a little Hero 8, is they overheat. They're black. Great idea, I suppose, for, you know, doing adventure movies in the snow. But when you're actually out in the garden in the summertime, it frequently will overheat. So you're always trying to keep it in the shade. It's also an older machine, so, you know we need to replace it, but as with all things, you know, you try not to until you need to. So let me move this guy a little farther down because I'm going to start working on the beds right here. Okay, we have some progress. Maybe not quite as much as I'd like, but the fact is I haven't been doing a lot of on my hands and knees gardening for most of the winter. I do plenty in the greenhouse, but that's different movements. So I want to be careful. I don't want to wind up too crinkly. Another reason is that I'm not continuing this process today is I actually moved the camera so you can see the end of that bed down there actually still has snow in it. So at some point here, you'll hit frozen ground. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the sections that are already really rejuvenating themselves for the spring, taken care of. The daffodils are open up here. There's another patch of them open up there, and there's some that are tucked in here sort of randomly. There's also some, let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh, Sweet Williams, which are dianthus. In the center here, they're supposed to be a perennial. They should bloom this year. They did not bloom last year, which was one of those little details that they didn't mention when I bought those seeds. But that's okay. They've spent their year in the ground now, so hopefully this year they'll bloom. Good progress made. A lot of the big stuff over here taken care of, so the little stuff now will go faster. Literally, I have cups and cups and cups and cups of seeds here. I'm working to be really picky as I go through here to make sure I'm getting out all the weeds. There is a perennial weed in here, right here as a matter of fact. This is white horehound, very invasive, very obnoxious. And once the plants are grown up during the summer, it's hard to get it out without damaging the plants. So what I do is I cut off the seeds so that they at least won't reseed. And I've started doing that a lot sometimes when you just can't pull out plants without damaging your other plants. So, or you could just barely reach it. It's one of the problems with a deeper bed. I prefer a slightly smaller bed, but this worked better for this location. So what I have here in the middle is perennials, so that I don't really need to fuss with them much, except when we get some weeds in here now. There's one here that actually managed to go to seed, and I'll show you. But see, those little balls of fuzz, every single one of those little fuzz balls things has little hooks on the end of it, which is how they get around. They get onto dog and cat fur and shoes and pants and all that kind of fun stuff. So I will dig through here. I'm going to have to get in here with a trowel and make sure that I get all of these out of here, because there was one section in the center here that I had a hard time keeping clean last year. There is also some, you probably noticed me stopped to pull stickers out of my fingers. There's also solanum in here, which is this nasty beast. You won't be able to see much about it right now. It's in the nightshade family. It has really nasty stickers. Start right about there and go all the way up to the top. And hard to get these things out of your finger because they're sort of a pink color. So they kind of blend into your fingers. And sometimes if you lick your finger, you can actually see the difference in color then. But still really hard to get out. And the people who are big fans of flip-flops, and I do wear flip-flops here in the summer, but I wear it on the areas where it's pretty safe. You get a couple of these in your foot. It may change your attitude towards flip-flops, because they can be months before you can get them out, and sometimes the only way you can get them out is to let them get infected. It's just really not my idea of a good time. But it's the kind of story that you deal with a lot when you live in a very prickly environment like a desert. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this a little bit. Watching somebody else's work is always fun. The Weather Channel tells me it's meteorological spring this week. The regular group of humans who live out there say that spring starts on March 20th. I need to read why they're defining it as meteorological spring. I've forgotten. I remember reading it last year or the year before last, and whatever. It's March. March can be anywhere from, -5 to 90 degrees where we live. We're actually supposed to get up to about, 66 right now. We're supposed to get up to like 72 today. And then I think tomorrow is supposed to be about the same temperature. But in another day or so after that, there's another cold front coming through and the highs will be in the low 40s. Fortunately, it does not look, knock on wood, at this point like the night temperatures are going to be super cold, which I will be just fine with. We're to that point where it's difficult. You're trying to juggle everything, and it's almost time to start some seedlings. I need to start some more cabbage, and haven't decided what else yet, but basically some brassicas. I might start 1 or 2 lettuce. We'll see. I have to decide. It's always a balancing game between winding up with too much lettuce, which is what we've had lately, or not enough lettuce. So, and we really try not to buy lettuce at the grocery store. The number of recalls we get here is obscene. It's not worth going back to the store for because it's too long a drive. Especially with the price of fuel being up, you don't go back to the store. It's like, no, too expensive. We have taken them rotten things back before. When it's been meat or something like that, but vegetables, it's not usually worth the price of the gas. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because obviously I have a lot to do. I worked on the bed over there the other day and got a lot of the big stuff like this off the top. That's just echinacea, purpurea, and calendula over in that corner. I'm thinking about adding more calendula to that. I did plant some black-eyed Susan over there, but I'm not sure. I have to actually go through in greater detail and see if it survived. I'm not sure if it did or not. I know that I have God's own collection of black-eyed Susan over there. So if necessary, I'll transplant some over. They did not bloom last year. I did not expect them to. Hopefully they'll bloom this year. That would be cool. And I think I'm going to grow some more echinacea. I really love the flowers on that. I have echinacea purpurea, which has got a pink and well, sort of like a fuchsia, and it's not light pink, it's dark pink. Fuchsia and orange flower, but there's other colors too. So I got to think about whether I'm going to pick some of that up. I've got all my currently known about veggie seeds in stock, and a bunch of my flowers. So I've got all the important ones like zinnias and stuff in stock, and a huge quantity of sunflowers. Our plan is to take the old garlic and onion bed, not garlic and onion, garlic and sunflower bed, because there's hardneck, there's elephant, and there's sunchokes over there, and that's been cleared out completely. And our plan is to plant that full of sunflowers, and we have to decide where else we're going to put some too. So, yeah. Hopefully, we're hoping for a most excellent and colorful summer. So, until next time, bye. And keep on brainstorming, because obviously we have to. And don't forget to ask questions if you have them. We answer our questions pretty much every day.
A few moments later.